come down there and break their neck. And you called on me, and I'm going to take away my busy schedule. And I'm coming down there. I'm not coming down there to play no game, Chavo. I'm in your corner. I want to come down there. We're going to kick some butt. And I'm not coming down there for any games, period at all. This fool Nelson's got a reputation of his own, and it's going to be to use on Madril and this here other gringo down there, punk.
Introducing to my right, weighing in at 210 pounds, Manuel Villalobos. Weighing in at 228 pounds from parts unknown, the Hood number 2.
Have appeared here on Texas All-Star Wrestling. It's going to be Hood number 2 in the ring as Hood number 1 comes out. And the only way I know that, I believe, is because of the color of the mask, because they could switch to a mask and never would know the difference. But it is Hood number 2. They tell us in the ring. Our first look at him. He backs out. The brother of Hood number 1 against Manuel Villalobos on the ropes. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, our big main event coming up later on today on Texas All-Star Wrestling. Chavo Guerrero against Madril. Hood number 2 with the red mask. They lock up. An arm drag by the Hood. Down went Villalobos. Villalobos back into the Hood. The Hood with a hip toss. Down goes Villalobos again. This time he's holding that back. Villalobos hooks up with the Hood. The Hood reaches in, has Villalobos up, and he slams him. Lock up, it's Villalobos with an arm drag. And oh, another one by Villalobos. A slam by Manuel Villalobos. And the Hood bills out underneath the bottom rope. Hood number 1 is over there telling him, go on, get back in there. Now the brothers talking to each other as they walk outside the ring. They want Villalobos to get back before the Hood number 2 gets in, and here he comes back in between the ropes. I can't figure out. The Hood is complaining, I believe, that Villalobos may have used the trunks. Now there's a knee to the rib cage, and then a forearm to the back of Manuel Villalobos by the Hood number 2. Villalobos off the ropes, elbow, and that takes the legs out from underneath Manuel Villalobos. The Hood dives across the chest of Manuel Villalobos with a knee. Here's a count, and before the referee can hit the mat, Villalobos kicks out. Forearm by the Hood. The only thing wrong with that, he's got him on the ropes. Referee trying to get him to get Villalobos off the ropes. He brings him off the ropes with a suplex. Snapped him over real quick with that suplex, drops the knee. And now grabbing the hair is the Hood number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, Texas All-Star Wrestling Super Battle World Touring. $100,000 to the winner. 25 entrants. The first name on the list signed today, the Ugandi Giant Kamala. We'll tell you more as they sign up in the upcoming weeks. That will be Sunday, September the 29th, Joe Freeman Coliseum, San Antonio. Now it's Villalobos coming back on the Hood. Takes those hands, chops them to the side of the head of the Hood. Now he whips the Hood across the ring and knocks him down with that big chop. Manuel Villalobos going after the Hood, and the Hood backs away from him. The Hood goes into the corner, gets a few words of encouragement from his brother, the Hood number 1, outside. Oh, they're hanging from the rafters here tonight. at the Wrestleathon for Texas All-Star Wrestling. And this is the excitement you get in your town when Texas All-Star Wrestling comes your way. Villalobos bouncing off the rope, shoulder, down goes the Hood. Over the top goes Villalobos. And this time the Hood buries the shoulder into the midsection of Manuel Villalobos. The fans booing the Hood. These Hoods are very, very similar. I wonder if they're not twins. Big bear hug by Hood number 2. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see the start of our USA Junior Heavyweight Championship Elimination Tournament. The first match is coming next week right here on All-Star Wrestling. The Hood slams Manuel Villalobos. Hood number 2. Doubles those fists up, throws them into the back of Manuel Villalobos. Drops the knee into the back. Yeah, that's about a half a camel clutch, I guess. He doesn't set down in the back. He just buries the knee into the small of the back, and then he pulls that head back. Villalobos not conceding. The Hood now dives in with that knee into the back of Manuel Villalobos. Here's a count on Villalobos, and it is 2. The Hood wanting a little quicker count. Of course, that works 2 ways, you know. He wants a quick count when he has Villalobos down, but he wants a slow count when Villalobos will have him down to the mat. The Hood takes Villalobos, whips him across the ring, gets in there with a big kick. Hood number 2 claps his hands, trying to get the fans on his side. I don't believe he's going to have any luck at all doing that. Reverse neck breaker, Villalobos down again. Here comes the Hood on top. 1, 2, and Villalobos kicks out. Manuel Villalobos grabbing the ropes. The Hood comes in behind, knocks him down again. The Hood takes the head of Villalobos and slams it into the turnbuckle. The Hood puts Villalobos back in the turnbuckle on the other side, throws a shoulder in. The referee, Fred Sinclair, gets him back out of the way. The Hood with an uppercut forearm. Villalobos with a kick. Villalobos with another kick. A big chop by Manuel Villalobos. A flip by Villalobos. Manuel Villalobos coming through the air. Dives across the throat of the Hood. That's the Hood number 2. Villalobos with a slam. A kick from Villalobos knocks the Hood back under the rope. Villalobos grabs the arm, takes him and whips him across the ring into the turnbuckles, but the Hood comes out with an elbow. The Hood reaches down, grabs the hair, picks Manuel Villalobos up, takes him across the ring, gets in front, Villalobos with a kick. The Hood looking for the flip. Oh, here comes the other Hood. Up onto the apron with a knee into the back of Manuel Villalobos. It's the Hood outside the ring with the knee on Manuel Villalobos, and now the Hood number 2 comes down, picks up Manuel Villalobos. What's he going to do with him? Oh, the Hood driver. 1, 2, 3, it's all over. The Hood driver has Hood number 2. In his first appearance here on Texas All-Star Wrestling, comes out the winner with a little help, I might say, from his brother, Hood number 1, outside the ring. We're waiting for the Hoods to make their way up here as the referee, Fred Sinclair, attends to Manuel Villalobos in the ring. Hood number 1 here on Texas.
You talk to me first.
Hood number 2.
Y'all seen all the best. Are you going to look at all the rest? We're going to take care of business right here. We're here to stay.
Tell him, baby. Tell him, baby.
Talk to him, brother.
Let me tell you something, people. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you again and time again, you are looking at the greatest mass tag team of all times. And I got a little message to bring out to the people. This goes to you, Forrest, you, Terry Daniels, you, Shawn Michaels. I don't care what combination, even if it's Chavo Guerrero and whoever he can get. You come out and see if you can beat us, because I don't think it can be done. People want to see what we look like. They ain't never going to find out, because there's two things you don't do. You don't tug on Superman's cape, and you don't pull the mask off the hoods, baby. And that's all I have to say, because, hey, our actions are in the ring, and they speak louder than words.
Well, you have the Hoods, number 1 and number 2. Number 2, the winner in his first appearance. Stay tuned, because we'll be back with Shawn Michaels right after this. Sunday, August 11th, 2 p.m. in the afternoon. That's tomorrow afternoon, a 2 p.m. main event. That's El Madril and Black Gordman. The American Force up against the masked, mysterious Hoods. Big Bubba takes on the Golden Boy. Jose Lothario, Shawn Michaels together against Dennis Stamp and Kevin Collins. Private Terry Daniels against Rick McCord. Advance tickets on sale at the Austin Food Market. The action all begins 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, Sunday, August 11th, right here at the City Coliseum in Austin. Billy Jack Haynes, remember, we'll be in Austin tomorrow afternoon. The American Force against the Hoods. Nick Kiniski.
Hood, I don't know which one it was, but you had the audacity to slap me on television last week. Well, I'm going to be coming, and it's going to happen in Austin, and I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone when Paul and I step in the ring. Paul, I know you have a few words to say.
Paul Diamond.
People of Austin, the Force is coming to your town. We're ready for anything, Hoods. No more slapping us around. We're not going to take it anymore. We took it from Madril and Guerrero, and now you, Hoods. Well, we're going to take care of it. You people coming up, come see some great matches, and come on, support the American Force.
The American Force may just unmask the Hoods right here in the ring in Austin tomorrow afternoon. Remember, that action all begins at 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, Sunday 11th.
Here's Hood number 1. Here's Hood number 2. You can't tell us apart. The people can't. Nobody can. You want a piece of us? Bring it on down. Try to take off the mask. It ain't going to happen. Right here in Austin, you're going down, boy.
That's one of the Hoods. There'll be 2 of them in the ring tomorrow afternoon as they go against the American Force. Billy Jack Haynes, Chavo Guerrero against El Madril, Black Gordman. Don't miss it, 2 p.m. tomorrow. Wrestling Close Up, our first edition. And on our first edition, we have here with us San Antonio's own exciting Shawn Michaels. And Shawn, it's nice to have you here tonight. It's a little hot.
Yes, it's a little hot in here, but it's good to be here. This place is packed, and it's getting more crowded every Monday, boy. These people are out here waiting for the matches, and they're going to be out in a little while.
Well, Shawn, on our first close-up, we'd like to find a little bit out about Shawn Michaels besides what he does in the ring. I know you made your home here in San Antonio, and how did you ever get into San Antonio?
Well, my father is military, former military, now retired, and we did a lot of traveling and finally ended up in San Antonio, and this is where I retired, and this is where I've stayed.
Where was he stationed?
He was stationed out at Randolph Air Force Base, and that's where I attended school out there.
I know you went to Randolph Air Force Base about 6 years, I believe. Of course, in your senior high years, you played football.
That's right. Randolph Rollhawks were a real successful team. They're small, but successful.
What classification did they play in? Do you remember when you were there?
When I was there, we were 3A, and now I believe they've dropped to 2A.
Of course, they've changed all those classifications. How successful was the Randolph football team with Shawn Michaels playing?
Very successful. Randolph, the Rollhawks are always successful every year, and when I played, we won district all 3 years. I was on varsity, and we went about to quarterfinals, I think, was the farthest we got when I was there.
What position?
I was linebacker and offensive tackle.
There's a lot of noise in the background. They're getting anxious for matches to start. Shawn, speaking of matches, how did you get into professional wrestling?
Well, as everybody knows, I was trained by Jose Lothario, and he trained me and started me out, and he and Fred Barron were the ones that helped me start.
Well, how did you become interested in wrestling at all?
Well, wrestling, my father was a former amateur wrestler. He wrestled at the University of Iowa, which is world renowned for their wrestling, and that is where I learned most of my amateur background was from my father.
Well, after you started with Jose Lothario, about how long was it before you decided to make the big step and get into professional wrestling ring?
Well, I thought I was ready right away, and Jose toned me down a little bit and said, let's train for a while. And I trained for about a year before my first wrestling match.
Well, I know your first professional wrestling match wasn't in San Antonio. You might tell us where it happened.
It was in Lake Charles, Louisiana, against Art Cruz, and that's where I stayed for about 6 months. Was the Mid-South area.
Well, after you left the Mid-South, you journeyed your way up the Mississippi River, I guess, and ended up around St. Louis.
Yeah, up in the Midwest. I did most of my learning and paid my dues in Mid-South. Went up to Kansas City and St. Louis and was very successful, and got Rookie of the Year up there, and that's something I'm real proud about. And that's where I refined most of my wrestling skills was in St. Louis.
What other cities did you wrestle when you were over in St. Louis?
Well, we were in Kansas City, St. Louis, Des Moines, Iowa, over in Illinois, and all the major cities around there.
Now you're back home, San Antonio. What brings you back to Texas?
Well, being only 20 years old, I have to admit I did miss home a little bit, my friends. But most of all, I wanted to come back and show the people that I could run with the Al Madrils and the Black Gordmans and everyone else.
I know Fred Barron, the promoter of Texas All-Star Wrestling, instrumental in getting you started, you said, and he's glad to have you back on Texas All-Star Wrestling.
That's right, and I'm glad to be here. All the top competition is coming to Texas All-Star Wrestling, and I want to be right up there with them.
Well, Shawn, coming up in just a few moments, in fact, after our interview here, is our main event today. Chavo Guerrero, Al Madril. How about your outlook on that match?
I'll tell you, Steve, to be perfectly honest, 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't have cared. I'd have wished they got in there and tear each other up, but I feel like Chavo Guerrero has finally come. He's back to the Chavo Guerrero that I used to watch when I was here in San Antonio, the former junior heavyweight champion. And what they did to his father, Mr. Gory Guerrero, was one of the most despicable things I've ever seen. And I think with that, the Chavo finally saw the right way to go. And now I hope that Al Madril gets his.
And now, your opinion on the match, you feel like, who's going to win?
There's no question. Chavo Guerrero is one of the best. I've said it before, I've wrestled the man. And he is one of the best wrestlers in the world today. And I have to go with Chavo Guerrero.
Well, you can hear the boos in the background. That's because Al Madril is coming out, and he's going to walk by us. He'll be getting into the ring. Well, Shawn, we want to thank you for your time here on Texas All-Star Wrestling Close Up.
Thank you very much, Steve. It's a pleasure to be here, and a pleasure to be the first one.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, Al Madril is in the ring. Chavo Guerrero is making his way down the aisle from the dressing room, and we'll pick up that main event right here, right after this important message. August the 11th at 2 p.m. inside the City Coliseum, Austin. Billy Jack Haynes teams up with Chavo Guerrero to take on Al Madril and Black Gordman. Billy Jack in Austin. The American Force meets the Hoods. Big Bubba battles the Golden Boy, plus 2 other exciting matches. Advance tickets on sale at the Austin Food Market. And don't miss Billy Jack Haynes and Chavo Guerrero together this Sunday at 2 p.m. in Austin at the City Coliseum with Texas All-Star Wrestling.
10-minute time limit. Introducing on my left, weighing in at 240 pounds from Los Angeles, California, Al Madril. Making his way into the ring, ladies and gentlemen, weighing in at 226 pounds from El Paso, Texas, Chavo Guerrero.
Well, listen to this crowd. They're going crazy. Chavo Guerrero against Al Madril. They come outside quickly. The bell sounds. It's Chavo Guerrero laying the fist in. And it's Al Madril now being told to the bottom rope. And look at the stuff that's flying into the ring. Al Madril gets a kick. Al Madril gets knocked down. Oh, the fans have been waiting for this one. Al Madril and Chavo Guerrero. Here's Madril off the ropes there with a drop kick. Down goes Madril. Madril comes out of the ring. Madril out of the ring. Chavo Guerrero's right there with him. Oh, and it's Guerrero thrown into the steel post. Chavo Guerrero has the shoulder thrown into the steel post. It's Madril in the ring. Drops that foot across the midsection of Chavo Guerrero. Madril fingers around the eyes. Oh, you can't hear anything in here. This crowd is going crazy. Madril fighting Chavo Guerrero. You remember this all came about for what happened when Chavo's father was injured by El Madril and Black Gordman. Madril throws a fist to the top of the head of Chavo Guerrero. There's another fist. Chavo staggered. Another fist. Chavo comes back swinging. They exchange blows. Look at this. Listen to this crowd. There goes Madril. Chavo Guerrero grabs Madril, throws him out onto the floor, and the crowd goes wild. I don't see any El Madril section here tonight. The head of Madril slammed by Guerrero into the television stand. Chavo Guerrero takes Madril, throws him into the stand again. Now he takes Madril. Big fist. He has opened the head of El Madril up. He has thrown him into the ring. Chavo comes in, tells the referee to get out of the way. I'll take care of this. Big fist. Madril staggered. The head of Madril slammed into the turnbuckle. Slammed into the second turnbuckle. Off the ropes comes Madril, and Chavo gets up with that big kick. Madril's down. Madril laying on the ropes now. Big fist. Fist to the top of the head, which has already been cut open by Chavo Guerrero. The crowd, look out, here comes Black Gordman. Black Gordman into the ring. He hits El Madril. There's the bell. Gordman into the ring. They're both going after Chavo Guerrero. They slam his head into the turnbuckle. They bring him over, throw him outside. Here comes Madril into the television stand again. Gordman has the turnbuckle cover up, the top turnbuckle. Chavo Guerrero is thrown into the steel post, as you saw. Now they bring him into the ring. Gordman is there. Gordman slams his head into that steel turnbuckle that has been uncovered, and Chavo Guerrero is in bad shape. You can see what else. Guerrero is knocked down. The match has already been stopped. The outside interference. There's some fighting from Gordman. It's Gordman and Madril taking care of Chavo Guerrero, and ladies and gentlemen, Chavo Guerrero leads. He has gone back to the dressing room as the beers fly. The things are thrown into the ring. Chavo Guerrero's back. He's got a board. Guerrero's back to the board. He's taking care of Madril. Guerrero takes care of all. You can see the stuff flying into the ring. Now they leave. They have left. Chavo Guerrero's in the ring by himself. We're going to go in there with him. Chavo Guerrero. One more time. It takes two of them to take care of Chavo Guerrero.
Let me tell you something, and let me tell everybody in here something. Chavo Guerrero is back. And you know what? You know what? I'm mad. And I'm not going to take it anymore. I took enough of it. I went out of my character. Banana came down to my dad and what they did. I am still a Guerrero, and I'm still Mexican, and I'm still me. And when it comes down to it, El Madril, if I gotta chase you, if I gotta get aboard, if I gotta go to the parking lot, I don't care. I am me, and I'm gonna get you, Black Gordman, and anybody else that wants to come with you. Viva Mexico!
Now, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Well, you knew it'd be wild when Chavo Guerrero met El Madril, and you can bet that feud's not over. Stay tuned, because we'll be back with more exciting action right after this. Tomorrow afternoon, that's Sunday, August 11th, 2 p.m. starting time, main event. Chavo Guerrero and Billy Jack Haynes team up against Madril and Black Gordman. The American force takes on the Hoods. Big Bubba against the Golden Boy. Jose Lothario, Shawn Michaels against Dennis Stelp and Kevin Collins, plus one other exciting match. Advance tickets on sale at the Austin Food Market. The action all begins tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Sunday, August 11th, City Coliseum right here in Austin, Texas. Chavo Guerrero, Billy Jack Haynes, your partner.
Well, Billy Jack Haynes is no newcomer to this area. You all know him. He has the same thing I've got. He's got a father that is in bad shape, except that my father was put in bad shape by Madril and Black Gordman. So I called Billy Jack on the phone. Billy Jack says, brother, I've heard already. You don't even have to say it. I've already heard. The news travels like fire. I'll be there. And tomorrow, come 2 o'clock, Black Gordman and Madril, we're going to be at the Coliseum because I can't wait to get my hands on you. And I know that Billy Jack is there to help me and back me up in anything that comes. Y quiero invitar a toda mi raza, a toda mi gente, a todos los latinos, a todos los mexicanos que vengan a ver para que de una vez me voy a desquitar con Alberto Madril y Black Gordman.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are Black Gordman and Madril.
Hey, yeah, you still tell his eyes are real small, like he can't even see. He's crying. Oh, my daddy, my daddy. I don't care about your daddy, Chavo Guerrero. I don't care about you. I don't care about your mother. I don't care about nothing. And this man here feels the same way, baby. You want a revolution? You started it. Well, I'm ready, and we're going to finish it, aren't we?
Y de veras que va a estar sorry, Billy Jack, a la hora que llegue a Austin. Va a renegar el día en que aceptó la proposición tuya, porque le vamos a dar hasta por debajo de la lengua. Billy Jack y Chavo Guerrero no nos van a servir ni para el comienzo. Les vamos a demostrar lo que es bien luchar. Pounds from Mexico, Luis Ramos. Weighing in at 235 pounds from Amarillo, Texas, Private Terry Daniels.
Yeah, here's the Private Terry Daniels on Texas All-Star Wrestling. He's in the ring against Luis Ramos. Oh, what exciting action. Whew, that's Chavo Guerrero and Madril. What a feud that has to be. Probably the biggest feud ever in professional wrestling, brewing right here on Texas All-Star Wrestling. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, on Sunday, September the 29th, a $100,000 two-ring battle royal at the Joe Freeman Coliseum, San Antonio. The first name on the list for that battle royal, the Ugandhi giant Kamala. We'll give you more next week. And don't forget, next week, we'll have the opening matches in the USA Junior Heavyweight Championship Elimination Tournament as you watch Daniels flip Luis Ramos. I'm sure Terry Daniels will be entered in that USA Junior Heavyweight Championship Tournament. I don't know if he'll be on next week, but he'll be in there somewhere. Daniels reaches down, grabs Luis Ramos, slams him to the mat. Terry Daniels catches a fist from Luis Ramos. Daniels throws a few forearms and punches of his own. Daniels with a slam on Luis Ramos here on Texas All-Star Wrestling. The head of Terry Daniels dives into the head of Luis Ramos. Terry Daniels with a drop kick. Down goes Ramos. Ramos with a fist. Ramos with another fist, trying to knock Terry Daniels off. Now he rakes the fingers around the ears of the eyes. Ramos whipping Daniels into the rope. And Daniels catches him with a knee. Terry Daniels reaches down. Has Luis Ramos up for the suplex, and down he goes. Texas All-Star Wrestling. Chavo Guerrero, El Madril, what a main event that was. Huh. I can't wait to see that one at one of the arenas. As you know, that fight is not over with. It's just begun. There's a knee to the top of the head on Luis Ramos by Terry Daniels. Daniels reaches down, backs Ramos into the corner. Daniels grabs him by the arm, whips him into the turnbuckle just here to the right of us. Now Daniels in front with a hip toss. Daniels catches Ramos with a big knee, and that sends Ramos right back to the canvas. Daniels backs Ramos into the corner. Takes him by the arm, whips him all the way across the ring into the other turnbuckles, catches him coming down there, picks him up and just throws him down. Luis Ramos is holding his back, and I can understand why. The private, Terry Daniels, dives through the air with an elbow that lands across the chest and very close to the throat of Luis Ramos. Daniels has the legs. What's he going to do with them? Daniels comes diving in there with an elbow into that left leg of Luis Ramos. Daniels backs Ramos onto the ropes, takes him all the way across the ring, gets in front with a knee. That flips him over. Daniels reaches down, grabs Luis Ramos. Here's Ramos off the ropes. Daniels in front, catches him. What's he going to do with him? Going for the abdominal stretch. Ramos has the abdominal stretch. Daniels drops down, touches the mat with the shoulders of Ramos.
Introducing to my left, with a combined weight of 500 pounds, the Honorable Armand Hussein presents from the South Pacific, the Samoan. From Missouri, Mr. Johnson.
Just a minute. When you're going to introduce my associates, you do it right. This is Gorilla Johnson, and don't you ever forget it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gorilla Johnson. On my right, weighing in with a combined weight of 490 pounds, the American Force, Paul Diamond and Nick Kiniski.
Now the American Force getting the big hands. They're introduced here on Texas All-Star Wrestling. You see him in the ring against Gorilla Johnson and the Samoan, and I want to tell you that the American Force is signed to be the main event here next week on Texas All-Star Wrestling, as they'll be going into the ring to meet the Hoods, number 1 and 2. But back to action in the ring. The Honorable Armand Hussein has Gorilla Johnson in the Samoan there. It's going to be Gorilla Johnson starting against Paul Diamond as the chant of the USA begins in the background. That gives us one more chance to tell you that on Sunday, September the 29th, Joe Freeman Coliseum, San Antonio, the greatest wrestling lineup ever assembled has been put together by Texas All-Star Wrestling President Fred Barron. And the big feature will be the Texas All-Star Wrestling Super 2-Ring Battle Royal, $10,000 to the winner. Already entered, Ugandan Giant Kamala. We'll tell you more next week. Drop kick. Down goes Ken Johnson. Nick Kiniski tagged in, is on top, and he gets thrown off at the 2 count by the Gorilla, Ken Johnson. The American Force back next week in that big main event as they'll be going up against the Hoods 1 and 2. And I'm sure we'll be hearing more about Chavo Guerrero and El Madril next week. Oh, the Samoan come in, he missed. And Kiniski hooks both of them, knocks them down, and then he goes to Johnson. Kiniski tags out, in comes Paul Diamond. He whipped Johnson into the rope. Double elbows, down goes Ken Johnson. Diamond on top, 1, 2, and Johnson kicks out again. Ladies and gentlemen, we know our time is getting a little short here on Texas All-Star Wrestling. We're going to stay with this one as long as we can. Don't forget, when we come to your town live, pack up the whole family and go on out and enjoy Texas All-Star Wrestling with the professionals from Texas All-Star Wrestling. Oh, Gorilla gets his own man as Diamond moved out of the way. Diamond tags out to Kiniski. Nick Kiniski and Paul Diamond, the American Force. Johnson off the rope. Double flip as they both bury those shoulders into Ken Johnson and take him over. Now it's Nick Kiniski with a side headlock on Gorilla Johnson. Side headlock still being applied by Gorilla Johnson here on Texas All-Star Wrestling. I'd like to thank Debbie Stedden and Teresa Lauder for the birthday cake. Thank you, girls. Hip toss. Oh, reversal. There's a hip toss by Kiniski. Kiniski with a slam. Down goes the Gorilla. Here's a count. Gorilla Johnson kicks out. Count of 2. Standing room only at the Wrestlathon. We're in San Antonio at the Wrestlathon every Monday night for the TV Mark television program. The action all gets underway at 8 o'clock. If you're in San Antonio, come to the Wrestlathon, 1704 Blanco Road. We'd like to see you. Side headlock being applied by Johnson as Johnson tries to get off the mat. Diamond holding on. They back to the ropes. Here comes a shoulder from Diamond. Over the top goes Diamond. Over the top goes Diamond, and a drop kick puts the Gorilla down. Hussein blowing that whistle, but Johnson not having any luck. If those are instructions, Johnson is not listening too well because it's Diamond controlling the match for the American Force. Diamond holding on to the head of Gorilla Johnson. The crowd chants USA, USA. They back into the corner. The Samoan holds the head of Diamond. Johnson in front. Here comes Kiniski. Kiniski is intercepted by the referee, Fred Sinclair. Here's the tag. The Samoan, the legal man, into the ring. The Samoan reaches in. Has Ken Johnson, has Paul Diamond up, slams him down. There's an elbow. Now a little choking from the Samoan. Once again, next week, the American Force will be back in the main event against the Hoods, number 1 and 2. Holding on to the head of Paul Diamond, it is that wild, wild-looking Samoan. The USA chant goes up again. The Samoan holding on to Diamond. Kiniski try to cheer Diamond on. But ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry we cannot stay with this, as our time here for Texas All-Star Wrestling has expired tonight. Till next week, Steve Stack saying so long.